we will come into work session.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for attending. I just thought we'd go through the policy here with the board. It's a new format, so it's a trial. So if you don't like it, we can revise it and see what it looks like. Just trying to make it workable for everybody. So what you have here is you look as you go through the policies, it will have like GBEB, and then it has ones we recommend, what we recommend, looking at all the stuff to try to make it work for everyone. So that's what we have. So it says page number, 1 of 2 of 2, and page number. So if you look at 2 of 2, you'll see the page, and it tells you where the changes will be. So that's pretty much what it is, and it just gives us an idea of where we're at. So the AR, we believe, needs to adopt the written keeping number 3. So that was the one they asked us about, and that's on 2.2. So if you look on 2.2 of the AR, number 3, we say that we should keep that one and make everybody happy. Pardon? Confused already? Sorry.
Okay, I got this 2.2. So then I go to this page. Oh, those are 1. So if I go
Needs to be adopted
back
as
in
written.
here,
Adopted as written.
Keeping number 3.
Keeping number 3. That's all it says.
Did you find 2.2? No. Okay, so 2.2.
so
And then as you look at the next one, I go to GB and the delete ones, by the way, I did not put those in there, so I figured that's just self-explanatory, but we did put them in there so the board knows what's being deleted, representing from OSBA. Then I have a GBN, JBA, and sexual harassment version 2. So we have there, and it's 1.9, so that's you can see the page number there. It says definition, keep hazing and menacing. We think those 2 words need to be kept. So that's where we're at with that one.
And
The
he
next
will,
one?
excuse me real quick, he will not mention the deleted policies. They're in your packet, but those are deleted and he doesn't have that in a summary.
Yeah, I figured the self-explanatory should delete, but
Did
we
you
put
hear
it in.
that, Annie?
Annie, did you hear that?
She can.
Can you hear it?
Can you hear us, Annie?
can anybody hear us?
Can you hear
Jeff,
us?
can you hear us, Jeff? Can you hear us, Jack?
Are you muted? Are you muted? Barry?
They're saying we're muted.
Yep.
Yeah, we're muted.
This is the universal sign
Oh,
of.
I just presented all the policies and they're all excited.
We're done.
I'm gonna back up a bit then.
Okay, we'll come back to session. Welcome, everybody.
So what I've done here is, and this format's new, so if you're not happy with it, we can make adjustments as we go. We're just trying to keep it where the board doesn't have to, laboriously go look at all the homework and do it. That's what we do for you, and then give some recommendations. So what happens here, if you look at the first one there, we're saying, okay, GBEB, and then there's 2.2, so we're saying we should keep 3. They said we could take it out, but we said we should keep it. And then what happens then under the AR? And then the deleted policies are in your packet, but I don't have in my summary sheet because I feel that's self-explanatory, so just go ahead and flip those out and that's deleted. So going to the next one though, we have sexual harassment, GBN, JBA. Version 2 is the one we think we should keep, and then we want, if you look at the thing, it says 1.9, that's the page number. And what we have, definition, keep hazing and menacing, so that's what we have there. We believe they should keep that. Then we look at the next section 3, you'll see adds a lot more needed details, so keep the last paragraph. We felt that the details were going to be important for us running the school district. So that's what we have there. And then it says add myself there. We put my name there, and Chandlin, as individuals who receive the reports, they can delegate as needed. And that way, if we have to delegate to a building or to an area, we can, but keep it at the level here. And then on the remove the Title IX delegation, we want to remove that because we want to keep those 2 separate, so we don't need to have that there. And they said that's what they recommended, so we did that. The next one says immediately needs to be added on both locations to ensure timely reporting. So that's going to be immediate. So in other words, we don't have 3 days, 2 days. If there's a harassment complaint or concern, that they will be filed immediately. Then you look at the next one, keep all the additions 1 through 6 in the investigation. So this is on 3.9, 2.9, excuse me, 1 through 6. And then it says, keep all the additions 1 through 6 under investigation.
No.
So you'll see now we go to 3 there. So 1 through 6, and then it also says reasonable person. So we chose that wording. We felt that reasonable needs to be what we were looking at to fit our particular culture of our school district. And then we went down to add 1 through 6 concerning district's ability to take appropriate actions. So we thought that would be good for us to have all those. So the district is to take, but not limited to. And then we have all 6 of those. We felt that it's a little better for everyone to have it described out. And then 1 through 5, that's going on 3.9 and 4.9. We believe affords the district the opportunity to provide more concrete examples concerning third-party harassment issues. Most harassment is third-party, so we really wanted to spell that out in our recommendation to the board for policies, and this spells it out better for us. So we were okay with that. Then if you look at the next one, we chose person. The other list is already implied, and that's on 4.9. And then we go to 5.9. It says drop the ODE statement. Not really needed, and it's a bit confusing. It didn't make sense why you would have the ODE statement there when it's just not part of the policy. So then we go to, I see a typo on there, apologize. The next one, superintendent is identified the district Title IX coordinator, that's 6.9. So at 6.9, we identified the superintendent as the Title IX district coordinator on the very bottom. Then we look at drop inquiry statements, not really needed on 7.9. So inquiries, you don't need to have it because we already know who the Title IX, that's a different policy and a different AR. And then we go to the next page, 8.9. We say the school should select school and district and person. We felt those words were more applicable to what we were trying to state in our policy. Any questions about that one before we go to GBN, JBA, AR? Okay, no questions, we'll go forward, Mr. Chairman. So if we look at this one, it says, repeat who's also there, so Tandlin and myself, this is 1.5 as the people. Select 10 days for the blank, more time provided, better processing and accuracy. We believe we should keep 30 days for the board to meet and take action. I have a hard time with policies, you'll see that all the way through all of them. If you don't give the board 30 days, you're gonna have to call a special meeting for a complaint that you might not wanna hear.
And we've had that problem in the past,
Okay.
actually with some of these complaints, so it's a much better time frame.
Good, glad to hear that. So that's what we're thinking, so that's why you'll see us select that one all the way through. And also too, some of them are specified in work days and not days all the way through. So then we look at the next one on keep 30 days and the select designatee. So that's where we can do that. And then we believe choose 10 days to provide more time. We already talked about that one. And then on 1.5, select designatee on 2.5 and 2.5. So on 2.5 and 2.5, we said designatee, select those terms. And then on step 2 is final. So what this means here is our thought was here on this one and making some phone calls. This seems to be better that the board's decision. This allows the board to skip hearing the appeal if the board chooses not to hear the appeal. So if the board says this is already followed process, we see it, we don't need to hear the appeal, and that stands.
Right, and even with a board appeal, that will not stop somebody from filing a lawsuit or another complaint.
Right.
So sometimes it just is, there's really no point, and it's another step for the board, if the board doesn't feel necessary to do it where there can be procedural error and get you sued over process, so the
And that-
board, that is better for you guys.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. It sets us up where we can have a mistake made that we didn't have in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any questions about that? Okay, then we'll go to page 4 of our summary sheet, and then we go to the next one. We're talking about moving 20 to 30. We move that to 30 days, as we already mentioned. Move 20 to 30, and then keep the bottom page, board's final decision, as we already mentioned. So now we go to Paul, there's all the complaint procedures and forms are all the same, all the way through there with just the new numbers. Now we're in policy GBN/JBA AR2. So what we recommended here was 1 through 4 under remedies, more details or more Bible we felt in our policy. So that's why we got to those there. 4.7. And that's on 4.7. So if you haven't turned there, that's where you need to be, because we didn't have any changes before that. So 4.7 bottom page. I apologize, I should have dropped it. There's no changes till 4.7, and we say keep 1 through 4. Okay, moving right along. Preponderance of evidence is what we wanted to have, because the key thing is if you, that terminology helps us, allows us more actions to be taken and the ability to hold everyone a little more accountable. So that allows us to work with as the process and has a little more spelled out power for us. On 3.7.
And nobody knows what clear and convincing evidence really means.
There you go. That was my big issue right there. Clear and convincing evidence. I mean, what you think is clear and convincing might not be legally a standard. So preponderance of evidence. Great. Thank you, sir. Any questions? Okay, we'll move on then to the next one. We covered that one already a little bit. Emotional programming on 5.7. We said select the period. So that way it ends that statement. Keep the 16 bottom section, allows the district to have more control and the district run facilities when dealing with these types of issues. So that's what we felt it was better. So you keep that there so it allows us to have better control of our overall facilities. And then under the appeals, affords the district some flexibility in the process. That's 6.7. So if you look at the appeals, this allows us, the district, a little more flexibility by doing it that way.
And just for everybody's information, part of the reason they've got a new pullout for this is there's been some federal case law that when they do a Title IX complaint, they didn't feel like school districts and a lot of universities were not properly giving people due process. That's why you've got things in there like making sure you have to disclose all evidence and things of that nature. So that's come out of some court cases out on the East Coast.
Yeah, and then like when the court case requires it, in the past, you didn't have to notify who all the witnesses are. Now I have to notify who the witnesses were.
Exactly, so.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. That helps us understand. Are there any questions about that then? And then you'll see the deleted policy next, and we're going on to policy JBA-GBN. So this one here, sexual harassment version 2. So what we selected here on 1.9, page 1.9, select hazing and menacing as we did in the past. Keep extra examples in the paragraph, more details as we mentioned earlier, and that's on 2.9. So you'll see the extra examples. We think that helps, especially someone that didn't know, but they will see that it's there. Keep myself and Tandlin as identified individuals. Drop the Title IX coordinator under 2.9.
I think that actually Lane and Susan are the designated individuals on that one, right?
Yeah, they are.
Not you and I.
Not me and I. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lane.
Okay.
Apologize. Thank you. That's Lane and Susan. Sorry, I should have corrected that. Apologize. Okay, then we have down Title IX coordinator, select immediately as we did in the past. And then we're at 4.9 now. The person already implied. Drop the ODE section, not needed, on 5.9. And then we go to 6.9. You'll see the page there. We're saying that that should be superintendent. Okay, and then on the Title IX coordinator. And then under drop section and inquiries of application under 8.9. And then select student, school student handbook and district website. That's our notification places where we publicize it. And that covers us legally, so it's notification. So there's a couple places they can get it. Also, when the students sign off on their handbook, they will be able to show that they know that they understand that, how that works. And then select the term person for the rest of it's already implied. Any questions on that? Okay, then we'll go on to JBA-GBN-AR1, sexual harassment complaint procedure. So this is a new proposed AR. I think we need to keep it. I think it's really good because it helps spell out. They have to articulate the complaint and we know specifically what remedy they might want. So if you look at that, what happens here, we add the individuals, we add 5 working days. And then on 5.5, we add 30 working days again, and then 5 working days, and then the term designate E. So it covers us as we move forward in the process. Moving on to summary sheet page number 5. We add 10 working days on 1.5. We add 10 working days on 1.5. We have designatee again on 1.5. Then we go to 2.5. Turn the page over and you'll see that we are talking about designatee again. We're talking about 30 working days to work with the board. The term designatee again. and then keep the statement in step 2 is final. So we thought that was very important because that way, like our attorney said, they can always file a legal court claim and file suit, but this says this is the last place they can appeal in the school district. And then on 5.2, we want designatee again for the next 3, and then we had 10 working days. And then we went to the term add designatee again and change from 20 to 30 on 2.5, and then 20 to 30 on 2.5. And then we have policy complaint, all the paperwork for that, what forms they use. If there's no questions, then we'll move on to policy JBA-GBN-AR2. Federal Law Title 9, Sexual Harassment Complaint Procedure, New Proposal AR. So what we did here on 4.7, there's no changes all the way to 4.7, so find your notes and go to 4.7. Under 4.7, we wanted to keep the remedies, 1 through 4. I think that helps someone when they have a complaint. They can spell out what some remedies, and this gives them some ideas. Can they add something to it? I suppose they can. Our lawyer would have to help us with that one, but this helps, guarantee what we're looking up to for the
Right,
students.
and it also gives you the full range of things for severity of the situation.
Perfect. Any questions about that then? Okay, then we'll move on to the next one. We got 4.7, and then it should be preponderance of evidence again. And then programming, select the period again. And then we said 6.7, so if you put into 6.7, you will see 6.7 will have 15 days. So we want to keep that. Add the number 4 under appeals, provides the district more options. We already said that. That's on 6.7. And then add 90 days, 60 days, and 60 days on 7.7. So we like this, so it gives a timeline, so there's going to be a compliance. They can't say that we did not follow the timeline. It also makes sure there's an ending date, so that way if they decide to file a lawsuit, they can, but at least we have fulfilled our policy. And that's 7.7. Any questions about that particular policy? If not, then we go to the next piece that's deleted. So we in our packet, we get rid of our deleted packets. And then we go down to one of my favorite ones, communicable diseases, students. And this is JHCC. So under this particular one, we have verbiage has changed, and we need to update the verbiage to reflect the changes in the law. So that's 1.2, and you'll see they have the law there. They have the changes, what was there, and what the new additions are. No questions on that. We'll move on to the next policy, JHCCAR. And what happens here, this is verbiage change, to update the changes of the law in 1.2. Okay? So that's it right there. Mr. Chairman and the board, that's our recommended policies and changes.
And I fully concur with all the proposals that the superintendent has made on these as well. I've reviewed them, so.
Any questions? Is that Darwin that joined us?
Darwin joined us, Lonnie joined us.
Yeah, here. So any questions for the board? Does this format help a little bit?
I guess if there's a little bit of history as to if any of it, as to why we're seeing it too, that'll help us as well.
Okay. I can add, so on my summary sheet, I can add a little history to it. I can, yes, no problem.
I mean, short and
No,
sweet.
short and to the point. We can say, this is updated law of court cases, like our attorney pointed out, updated court cases in the east that made us do this, where we have to actually now notify who the witnesses are, accepted. Okay,
What do you guys think? Does that help a little bit?
a little more
Yeah,
history.
and once I kind of figure out what we're doing here.
Well, the first one's always tough, but I think it could be a very efficient. It could be a very efficient process for us to get someone through some of the laborious policies, and that way the board can understand the logic behind it. So I just put a little more logic next time. Does that work?
And sound was good too.
Okay, good. Yeah, sound does help.
We're just practicing. Okay, we got about 10 minutes. So,
Our birds are
Right.
fast.
Oh, the
I
birds
would
are
just,
fast.
I would just throw out there, Mr. Chairman, that unfortunately with the administration change, you will probably see a different version of the federal policies again next round, next year. So these aren't done by any stretch of the imagination.
These are living organisms, yeah.
okay.
Very much so.
Alright. I know we got potentially a couple candidates joining us tonight, so. Give them a chance to come in as well. So we got about a 10-minute break. I'd like to call the meeting to order and we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice.
Alright, welcome everybody. This is the meeting for Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. Approval and amendment of meeting agenda items.
I
I move
would,
to approve the meeting agenda items for October 14th, 2020 as presented.
second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve the meeting agenda items for October 14th, 2020 as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of September 16th, 2020 as presented.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of September 16th, 2020 as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Good news.
Yeah, I got a good one. It's always nice to read these. Hello, Principal Stratton. I hope you're having a great day. I'm sorry I missed you when I was visiting last Friday. On the day I visited, I had a special ed assistant with me from Medford, and we both were impressed how smoothly the school was operating and how welcoming and friendly your staff were. More importantly, I wanted to relay how proud of your school I was for its patriotism and how it honors our country and our veterans. A friend was with me from Iraq as a Freedom Combat veteran. His battalion lost 54 members for what I hear is one of the highest losses since Vietnam. He was disappointed daily in the lack of patriotism displayed in his school. The president's picture was not displayed and frequently indoors, neither is the flag. Sam remarked on multiple occasions how proud he was walking through your halls at their flag displays and the way you honored service members. I frequently heard, "See, this is what schools should look like." He even gave a young girl a hard time for smelling like cotton candy vape when she was out of the bathroom. He clearly felt very at home. Again, I wanted to let you know the difference you are making, not only having kids in school, but a fine example you are setting. Thank you for all you're doing. So, Amy Merringer, Oregon Youth Authority, and I thought that was pretty nice to share. So she took the time to write that letter. I wanted to make sure I shared that with the board.
Good. All right.
It's really nice to hear.
Thank you. Superintendent report?
Yeah, so we got a few things. We're still working on our gates and the facilities, and our lights project is going extremely well. We're gonna make it by December 1st, so we're optimistic about that, so we're moving forward. We also have some cleanup coming on this winter cleanup, so we have a couple dump trips we made today. We're gonna make 4 more trips and get things done to clean up the area a little more, and also can keep cleaning up some of the buildings, so whenever the winter does come, we can do some of our inside work and our maintenance, because we have it clean. All students belong. Next month, we're going to be having on the agenda that's coming from a new policy from our Oregon Department of Education and from our state board. So all students belong next month. The new policy requires us to talk about making sure that all students feel welcome in schools, and they have a very large policy, an ACB policy. So we'll be bringing that to you. I wanted to make sure you're aware of that, so we'll be sending it out to the board in the next few weeks, and we have to have that passed by statute now by January 1st of 2000. So we have to get it done in the next 2 months. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that to you. It's basically based on 3 court cases: Tinker versus Des Moines, Delano and Morgan, and State versus Robinson. So those are the 3 big ones that it's based on. Just trying to make sure that our kids are safe and they feel welcomed in schools, and that there's no bullying by use of symbols or things like that. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to make sure you're aware of it. Okay. Next thing, policy adoption, everyone was okay with that from our last work session? And I just add a little more history is what I put down in my notes. Okay. Next thing was, work session. So we're looking at a work session. I'd like to have a work session, and that's gonna come later on in the board agenda about the bond issue, but also, Chairman and I talked about maybe we have to get the OSBA, once you select a new board member tonight, that we were able to have a training for the OSBA, and superintendent and the board.
Yeah, so one of the things when we selected a new superintendent, it also came with a training, correct? And they've been hounding us since we made the selection, and we put them off. And since we're gaining a new board member, I think this would be a good opportunity. So we have to come to agreement of when we can possibly do it.
I also, sorry, I just wanted to add, the November board, is really great. The one they hold in Portland, the word escapes me, it's the whole board.
OSBA conference, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But that one's really good, and it might come with an affordable price tag too this year since it's virtual.
Yeah, it's $250 something, and I'm presenting on Saturday, so yes, I can also get one free ticket for a board member, so we can save some money.
Cool.
So you wanna set up times now or later, Mr. Chairman?
Do you wanna throw out the proposal?
Yeah, we had a proposal, a couple ideas we're looking at, we're thinking about. I know this is gonna be a tough one, so take a deep breath. A lot of people did not wanna mess up their weekends. So we were looking at maybe, there's a non-work day on the 11th of November, for, 3-hour training. That's a Wednesday, it's Veterans Day. So we could actually have a 3-hour training then if OSBA is available. It's a national holiday, but it is a time when we could all get together. If not, we could also do it during one of the days, if everyone's okay with it. We could do it 2 o'clock to, 5 o'clock one day, or early in the morning, 7 to, or 8, whatever time. Okay. We had a conversation that Corey's not really that, I'm talking 8 plus, so.
I work by 6:30 every day, but on the weekend,
So
then I just have to
but
go to the hallway.
since with the COVID and everything, we could even do it during the day. So we could carve out some time during a regular workday if everyone's able to get away and do that, but that's up to the board.
Either 8 to noon or 2 to 5.
Pardon?
Like either 8 to noon or 2 to 5.
Yeah, 8 to 9, noon or 2 to 5.
So first of all, what do folks think of the November 11th date?
Veterans Day.
I'm fine with that,
I'm fine with that.
especially where it's in the middle of the week, it's not like we
If
can.
it was in the weekend or something, yeah, middle of the week, you're still.
Okay, and then Darwin, how's that work for you?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I have the day off, but yeah, it's not a big deal to still have a meeting.
Okay,
But whatever you guys prefer, I'm good with moving it as well. Either way.
would you rather do morning or afternoon?
First thing in the morning would be super nice, yeah, to get it over with.
Get it done.
8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay,
My vote's for 8. Nothing before 8.
okay,
Seems too much.
Right. Well, I'll try to get that, and if OSBA can't do it, because that's a holiday and they can't by their policy or something, the question would be then, we wanna do some kind of half day one day, or afternoon, or what's better?
Yeah, let's just keep looking at that.
Okay.
Like that week or,
Okay, I'll look at that week and see if we can do something then. Maybe the 12th if we can't do the 11th or something. Does that work for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll make a phone call tomorrow and get back to you all.
I'm good.
Thank you all. I got the opportunity to serve, they're forming a new matrix for the, trying to get more schools to open up. So I got an email this morning, a text at 5:30, and they've asked me to head up that committee with Colt Gill and them, and so that work will start restarting tomorrow. And we're gonna have a new matrix trying to get out to the governor by next Friday. So I just wanna make sure, let you know that if you read that in the paper, that I'm just on that committee, so it's nothing to do with Lakeview except because we're open, but they wanna look at some of the things we've done right and things that we've learned that we could have done a little better.
To be clear, you're the chairman.
Okay, well, I'm on the, yes,
Not only did they ask you, but
Yeah.
they also made you the chair.
yeah, so that, I'll let you know how that works out, but I wanted to make sure the board was aware of that. Daycare, we had 24 students today. It's going real well. It's really been a service for our first responders and our staff, so we appreciate our staff working diligently to keep that going. We have 2 different cohorts there, and whenever we check temperatures twice a day in that place, every hour, I should say. Some people are there longer, and then what happens is if we have anyone who's close, we take care of it, send them home. We have been very good about quarantining. Staff has been self-quarantined. If someone's feeling bad, we're making sure that they keep our students in school. So that's the most important thing. As we go down, nurse, we met with her a couple times, met with her this morning. So we have protocols in place. She has met with all the buildings. She's also met with health services. So we're on track with that, and we're doing that. We're also going to send her to meet with school nurses in Klamath Falls. So she'll be doing that with us and working with there. So we're very pleased. I met with Charlie, and he's very happy with our partnership. He's going to help with some kind of funding on that. So we're working out details with that one. Also met with the resource officer. We had trainings with our staff, with our administrative staff, of how to use a resource officer. I gave a manual to them, and then he's got that manual. We're also working on an MOU. So we'll have an MOU next month for the nurse and an MOU for the resource officer is our hope, if we can work that out with the sheriff. The sheriff is the unknown variable with his time. He's very busy, but we're working on that. The MOU makes very good relationships, which spells out the responsibilities and how things work. So we're very pleased, and right now it's going really well. So we appreciate the sheriff's partnership. He's done a really good job supporting the school district with that. I want to make sure publicly that gets out there. COVID mask concerns, people are getting mask fatigue. So I want to make sure we talked about that it's hard. So, we're having a lot of our kids step out of the building by themselves, taking mask breaks. That's been important. Also, too, we had to change some people's mask breaks as soon as we're breaking out their chin and things. So we're working on that, but our kids have been great. I did a mask check all through the middle school and high school a couple days ago. Only had to talk to 6 students, so it's just tough. And it's hard to be the mask police, but that's where we're at right now. I tell everybody I wear a mask so we can stay in school, and people seem to respond to that. I was helping out at elementary school, dropping off what kids are picking up, and I was, have my gloves, my mask, but just in the saying of a good example, I'm not doing that right now. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to COVID goes over, or I can do that again. It's one of my favorite parts of my job. Tomorrow, though, I get to be the elementary principal for a couple days, so I'm looking forward to that as well. It gets me in the building. It really helps me remember why we're here. So that's what I have. We're also going to be looking at some hand washing stations. So we did some homework on that today. So we're going to try to increase some hand washing stations. Talking to some other government agencies, it really seems to indicate that the more people wash their hands and keep sanitized, the less COVID spreads. So we're really going to work on that right now. So we're looking at putting some hand stations outside of the gyms and things. So whenever we have any kind of event or something, that people just wash their hands. So just that extra step. So we're pretty excited about that. Good suggestions. So we're working on that right now. So that's pretty much my report, Mr. Chairman. Does the board have any questions or concerns for me?
Any questions? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, public comment.
I don't think we have any.
Hearing none, we'll go to reports. Building principal report.
Those are handwritten.
Have we
Submitted?
put them in your-
Those are of course
All right.
submitted.
And the only one we have is Chris.
Okay.
Chris Rose, Lakeview Academy Principal and Athletic
And
Director.
Lonnie.
And Lonnie, yes.
Okay, so Chris, you're up with athletic director and Lakeview Academy principal report.
Okay, that'll work. I had the others open just in case you needed me to read those, so I'll just jump in on this one. So we're at 79 students currently enrolled in the academy. A little bit of change. I feel like that change was before that last meeting as we were closing in on that cutoff date. But 79, and there's a good portion of those students, about a third or more, that are choosing to come in for some support in person. Far and Chalice Young, who's one of our subs hired on through the end of the month, are really staying busy, doing a lot of work, communicating with parents, just providing them support, but also working in what we call the Academy Learning Center and the old DMS building. So we've occupied a classroom over there and some office space, and those two ladies are meeting with students pretty regularly. And that aren't making the progress or haven't dedicated the time to that, so they have some extra accountability for them.
Hey, can I jump in there, Mr. Rose, for a second? Might I jump in for a second?
Please.
Yeah, one thing I want to add on this, this was one of Chris's ideas, I think it's very brilliant. This is an addition, all those people who are on online academies, they don't have this support. So this is extra, and that's what makes ours so much more efficient and so much more efficient, not only efficient, but for our kids, more user-friendly. You might have that problem, maybe mom or dad can't help you with that trigonometry, but they can help you with the calculus piece, and that we have tutors. So I think that's the part that makes us special, and then we are gonna carry this on after COVID. I think that's gonna be the additional piece. So it also could be used for credit recovery. So didn't want to interrupt much, Mr. Rose, but I wanted to praise you for that great idea.
Thanks, sir. And I'll praise Sam and Chalice for doing all that hard work. I've only met with a minimal number of students myself during my busy day, but they have scheduled tutoring times and are really just knocking the ball out of the park. Let's see here. Athletics, we've had a couple softball games. We do have baseball tomorrow with Burns. There are just really so few teams that are available to play, and working with schools. There's a school over in the I-5 corridor, a small private school that said, hey, we're just desperate for games. We'll go anywhere. We're open, but no one around us is. We can't play anybody. And so it's been a challenge, and I feel like everybody, especially those of us in Eastern Oregon, or at least do some hybrids, are in those positions. But it's been encouraging to get to know some new ADs and to provide some new opportunities for our teams as well during this open season one. Now keep in mind, we still have regular seasons all planned out, is starting in late December. So we'll see, hopefully everything will be somewhat normal for those seasons, and as we go January through June essentially. One of the things in conversation with Coach Stupak, football coaches, starting football February 22nd on the ground. So, and we're planning ahead. One of the things we did was contact that field house over in Klamath to see if we could get some indoor field time. Anticipating that we may not be able to practice outside very much in February and March. On campus, I've been fortunate enough to be able to work pretty closely with Mike Patterson, our new school resource officer. And it's been really good. He's that extra set of eyes. For example, he's been coming in the last couple of days this week and last week, just checking on a couple of students who he has just observed and asked about their attendance, and they're not here, let's go find them. Just real good observations and genuine concern for kiddos and making sure they're getting to class where they are. When I needed to deal with a particular discipline situation, that Officer Patterson, the child just said, hey, listen, I imagine things are tough for you. You want to just go chat? And the child took him up on it. So it was great to see that. I got to be the bad guy, and Mike got to be the good guy. And Mike just had a real good conversation with that child. And it was quite impressive. It was a conversation that I did not have and could not have really because of the position I was in. But I feel like Mike broke down some walls there. So we're really happy he's on campus and around the district as well. We've been working a lot with community partners. We do have our monthly meetings with juvenile, probation, and mental health, and so that's super important. I think Lane addressed that also in his report, that the mental health that we're seeing, those needs by our students that are coming back after such a long hiatus, and just the difficulties that they're facing in their lives, it is big. And so it's been good to have those community partners. It's great. Our new nurse was on campus today. We all got to meet her at the admin meeting the other day, and she was here today, so it was nice to see her around and working with Emma and getting up the place set up. So it takes a village and to raise these kiddos in the school and educate them, but I think this village is coming together nicely.
Okay. Any report?
That's the end, yeah, turned off.
Any report? Okay.
Sorry, that was it. Yep.
Okay.
For the signal, but yeah, that's all I have. Any questions?
Alright, thank you, Mr. Rose. Ms. Chavez, special education report.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good.
Good. Our special education teachers have just done a great job in their schedules and meeting the needs of individual students' schedules and getting that all together. I feel like we're finally settling in and things are working really good. Last week I had the opportunity to attend the ODE COSA Special Education Fall Conference, and I brought back some really good stuff. Actually, it was virtual, so I didn't really go anywhere. But it was great to have a half a day on transition services. So those are for our students that are 14 to 21, and so that's our, usually it's high school, but some middle school. And so the teachers, for the teachers at the middle school and high school, I gave them a lot of different resources when I got back, and I'm going to sit down with them next week and review those. They also talked a lot about how do we get our kids those job fair opportunities, and how do we get our kids those, the job site opportunities. And so different Eastern Oregon school districts are putting some virtual programs together, and we're going to tag on to that. And we worked with them the last couple years as well, so that'll be really good for our students. I also sat in on some, because I know that Mr. Rose just made a statement about, how do we support our staff and our kids through COVID and the mental health issues and just that social emotional. And I sat in and got some great resources on that I'm sharing with principals and different staff members so they can share and really look at that with the students. Another thing that I attended, it was a 2-day conference. So one of the other ones was how do we support our students if they're at home? So we do have some kids that are still at home and have chosen to not come back to school, or if we would have to go back out, which I hope we don't, because I think things are going really well in school with autism or other disabilities. But they gave some great ideas that we can share, and I feel like if we would have to go back out again, we'd be more prepared for the special education department. So there's some of that as well. So that's kind of where we're at. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions, thanks.
Alright,
Okay, thank you guys.
thank you, Lonnie. Okay, next up is financial report. Janet.
Okay, so this is for period ending through August 31st, so basically 2 months worth of financials in front of you. And if you'll look, you have the revenue piece should be your first page available to you. And if you look at the very top, we had projected overall year-to-date revenues at 16%, and we actually collected 17%. Our local sources, was a little bit higher than what we projected, and the projected is based off of prior years coming forward. And so we actually collected almost 5% versus the almost 3% that we project. And then our state sources, which is our state school fund, we really can't go very wrong in that because we kind of know that ahead of time. So we're at 25% versus our 24.7. We've collected 2 months worth of July, or in July, because we don't get anything in June. And then of course August, and then we also received a common school fund of about 26,000 roughly in there. If you look down at the top 10, I noticed this evening that I have a mistake in there. The beginning fund balances showed up in there, and I didn't even see it until tonight when I was reviewing and prepping for this. So my apologies, we'll have that fixed for September, as that shouldn't be in there. Regular day school tuition, I think we talked about that from the July report, which is accounts receivable from the prior year. And we had some miscellaneous hitting in there. Taxes levied by the district, which was about 26,000. That goes back to that local resource. So that's our prior year taxes and our interest on those taxes for being late. And then of course interest on investment, which is our LGIP, which is about 3,100 to date. as of August 31st. If you look down, you can kind of see that revenue-wise, we're kind of holding pretty steady as far as we're as concerned with prior year-to-date versus current year-to-date. There's not a lot of dramatic change because you get your state school fund, your AR comes in. We're probably a little bit more on the AR this year than we've been in the past. Usually we get them collected by June 30th. That wasn't the case this year. So there's a little bit more there on the local resources. And then of course projected year-to-date and our current year-to-date on the very bottom. Local is a little bit higher, and which is due to that AR, that accounts receivable. And then of course your state is roughly about the same. Any questions on the revenue?
The 2 times we got the building used for firefighting,
Oh, that I didn't get till September. The
so
dollar.
that's not reflected.
No,
Okay.
no. In fact, I didn't know that they deposited until I was working on bank recs for September today.
Okay.
But they were both there. 8,400 and 14,400 was the 2 amounts.
So we're over 20,000.
Yeah. So they both hit in September. So, and you'll see that in my next report in September. We'll see that. Any other questions on the revenue piece? Good. There. Okay. Moving into expenditures, this is where we're gonna see.
D, all of the
D, all of the above. So our projected year-to-date expenditures overall, we were at 6%, we're projecting 8%. Now, usually by August, we are buying like crazy. That's when we're fulfilling all of those orders that the teachers have put in, not so much in July, but mostly in August. So this year's been a totally different ballgame. So we're gonna see a spike in September and even into some of October, just because everything has been so delayed with ordering and that sort of thing. So we're slowly getting things in. It's just taken time on some of the things that they've ordered. Unfortunately, salaries, that's been projected about the same. We're a little bit higher. Of course, we've had a few moving around, added those kinds of things that fell in there, but it's not been a huge difference, to really spike it on there. All other objects on the other side, those are your supplies and that sort of thing. So 10% is what we usually do, and then we're clear up to 5%. So, the top 10, of course, is our health and life insurance. That's always a biggie. All of our salaries. We did pay our property insurance premiums, which is paid in prepaid, and of course is a biggie, over 100,000 every year. And so that was a big one in the month of August, and of course the rest of that it is mostly salaries and health and life, and of course PERS, and then small consumables amount. Roughly about 17,000, and those kinds of things are, our ALSCO bills and linens and those kinds of things that come in. And then I think Mr. Carter had needed off supplies or something. Those types of things. So if you look there to your right, prior year to date versus current, you've got your salaries and your payroll, associated payroll costs. That is relatively the same. Your purchase services and your supplies and materials, there's where you see your big difference. Again, that's just from the purchasing and the timing of all of that. Any questions on the expenditures piece?
These graphics are nice, aren't they?
Okay, so moving on, you guys are all good up there? I have my back to you, sorry. So now keep in mind we are still not audited. We haven't finished our audit for Lake County for the prior year. Within the prior year, we did come in at 1.5 million. This year we did come in at 1.1, again, unaudited. So it could change, but I don't look to have a huge change in there. So pretty roughly the same. July we ended at roughly 2 million. And August 2.1 million. So we're pretty close from the prior year to what we're doing this year. I kind of, other than being rather low with 1.1, but remember we talked about the accounts receivable was higher than in normal years, so we would have normally been probably about 1.4. So that's why we're in July, we're back kind of status quo in there. Any questions?
Okay, thanks, Janet.
Mhm.
All right. Number 5, bond.
So, Mr. Chairman, we're looking at trying to figure out a way to, meet, so I'd like to propose a work session maybe in November is what I'm looking at. It'd be nice to sit down and talk about where we're at. I want people to start getting past COVID and think back to getting back to doing our jobs. And that's to get, that's to look at what our kids need. And right now, we have some facilities that we need to take care of. And if we're able to do a bond right now, we can sit there and talk about it and get the right thing. So that's what I'd like to do and get the board's input. I don't want to proceed being new. I don't understand all of the nuances yet and the values of the community. I need that from the board so I can do a better job serving. And Janet and I can meet with we're very pleased with what the proposals are, but we can make some tweaks. And I think the more I understand, the better I can do.
Just a reminder, we chose not to go forward with a bond. It allowed you some time to get your feet underneath you and study a little bit.
Appreciate that.
Anyway, just discussion at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Old business. Hearing none. New business. Lake County School District number 7 Board of Directors, position number 5, selection. Okay, so I just want to start off before we go to a motion. We've had 3 candidates, and we're really fortunate to have the 3 candidates that we did. Thought it was awesome. The process, I think, was very fair. They had an opportunity to answer 3 questions. They also gave us the resume. And unfortunately, we can't take all 3. We can only take 1 at this time. But whoever we do nominate here shortly will have to run again in the spring and be elected by the public. So if those that don't get selected still wish to choose to run, that is certainly an option for them. So, all right. What we'll do this time, which maybe board members is a little bit different than the past, and it's a little more Robert Rule of Order, is we'll go ahead and take a motion to approve, and then we'll have discussion. So
Okay.
we'll open it up.
I move to select Scott Hobble for the Lake County School District number 7 Board of Directors, position number 5.
Is there a second? Okay, the chair will second then. Okay, so open for discussion. Corey, you wanna just kind of.
Well, in looking at Scott's history, a couple things that kind of stand out to me, well, there's really 3 things. He's got kids within the district, which I think is important. And he deals with a lot of these kids after they're done being in school. And as they become young adults, he's involved in a lot of that interview process, and I think it would be and hiring these kids that then work for him for the summers. And I think it's an interesting thing, and I like what he can bring to the table with, what are we producing here? What are we spitting out into the community? And his take on what the successes, what the weaknesses are. I think those are things that could be really important to us as we continue to develop our curriculum and what's important. we get them through school and then, I think then we're kind of done. So I think that's an interesting perspective that he can bring to us as far as, what can we do better so that when they do get out there in the real world for their first job, are they successful? So I think I like that aspect of it. The other thing is he's served on multiple boards and committees within what he's doing. I like the fact that, he started out and has really continued to work on what his skills are to move forward in his position also.
Other discussion? You're muted, Annie. Your mouth was moving, but
No, you're still muted.
you're still muted.
What the heck?
No. Oh,
There we
you
go.
are.
Whew, sorry about that problem tonight. I just don't have a ton more to say than Corey, and I, first of all, just want to say that it's a tough decision between all of the candidates. I think we had some great applicants apply, and my biggest intuition goes with Scott. I've worked with him on some coaching things. He helped tremendously in the community and with Karen. And I believe our other person is a council person, maybe, if I'm correct. But I would like to bring in a fresh face. I know that Scott's helping, but I would like to bring him forth and give him this opportunity to serve on this board. So I guess that's why I picked him over the others per se. But again, I think that they were all great choices.
Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Do we have a motion? Oh, we already have a motion.
We already have a motion.
All right, so all in favor to approve the selection of Scott Hobble for Lake County School District number 7, Board of Directors, position number 5, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Congratulations to Scott, and thank you, Scott Langham and Jamie, for applying. And wish to hopefully work with you or see you more in the future too.
Also, Mr. Chairman, you mind if I add that we do have openings on the budget committee coming up as well. So
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Speaking of that, number 2, ESD Budget Committee member, 3-year term. This was in the past, Corey, and her term has expired, so we need a representative from the board to take on a new 3-year term.
I served my 3 years as well. Oftentimes, we like to choose the new board members so they can.
That's brutal.
It's what they did to me. That's what we did to Corey.
That's what happened to me. I was brand new. I'm like, oh, I don't mind getting myself into.
Jack's easy to work with. You'll be good.
Hey, we do feed you.
There you go.
This
See?
is
I told you,
true.
free dinner.
This is true.
It's all about food.
All right, I move to approve Corey Price as Lake County ESD District Budget Committee member for a 3-year term as presented. Did I hear a second?
Oh, yeah, Darwin seconded. All right, any discussion?
Hearing none, we'll move forward to the motion. So the motion is to approve Corey Price as Lake County ESD District Budget Committee member for a 3-year term as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You just went over yourself.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Number 3, ESD Budget Committee member. So we have a new superintendent, so we need Mr. Carter to be part of the budget committee.
I move to approve Michael Carter as Lake County Education Service District Budget Committee member for a 3-year term as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Michael Carter as Lake County ESD Service District Budget Committee member for a 3-year term. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I expect a very good meal, Jack.
Hey, I am excited to have both you and Corey on the committee, and yes, we typically feed very, very well.
Okay.
That's right. Especially in Paisley. Okay. Number 4, 2020-2021 MOU with Lake County School District number 7 and Lake ESD. Mr. Thompson, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. So I won't go over this detail or every detail on this. It's the same MOU from previous years. It's our understanding that what we as an ESD will do for you as a district. Some of the highlights I want to point out are changes this year that are different. Our speech and language program, we have a new SLP. She is a traveler. She is from, I believe, Louisiana. And we are very excited about having her. She has integrated herself extremely well in the very short time that she's been here. Very personable person. Her name is Kathleen Jones. So if you have not had a chance to meet her, she's a very nice lady. Also, under the speech and language program, Brittany McCary, she is now an SLPA. And so we have added that service, and she is working solely with the Lakeview School District. So she is certified to do that, and we're happy to have her because that frees up a lot more time to work with kids. Also, in the area of autism, last year we had autism services being provided by the regional services out of Southern Oregon ESD. And this year, Sammy Sharp, she completed her degree and her training in being an autism specialist. And so now your autism services are being served locally. And so your response time and what you receive for autism services will be much improved than in the past. So that will definitely be nice. We have now a new Student Success Act liaison. And I'm going to go ahead and say it publicly. I blame that on Lonnie. She hired our last one as a special education teacher, which I blame her, but I actually envy her because I would have done the same thing. So our new liaison for ODE is Amy Fortune, and Amy has taken that on to assist your district and all 5 districts within the county. In any way that you need in helping with the Student Success Act and any of the reporting or any of that nature, she will be there to be able to help you out. And she's done a great job of getting herself up to speed. So very, very pleased with her already. So those are the main highlights that I just wanted to point out on this year's MOU. If you have any specific questions about anything that we can provide, I'm happy to answer it. Otherwise, I'll just be looking for the approval of that so that we can continue to provide you service.
All right, thank you, Jeff. All right, any questions for Mr. Thompson? Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the 2020-21 memorandum of understanding between Lake County School District 7 and the County Educational Service District as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 2020-21 memorandum of understanding between Lake County School District number 7 and the Lake ESD as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
I thank the board. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. 2020-2021 Division 22 Standards Report to the community.
So, Mr. Chairman and Board, I put together a little thing I got from Oregon Department of Ed. We have a PowerPoint there. The most important part on that one is on page 4. What we have here is Division 21 standard timelines have changed, so now we have to have them on, approved by the board by November 1st, and then they have to be posted by November 15th. There are 54 standards, so what they did was try to make it more concise. On page 4, it talks about those, and you'll see the assurances. So number 17 is the 54 standards. So what this means, this just tells everyone what we're doing and that we're complying with the state law under 581 OAR. So what happens then is what we bring here is we bring it to the board, and then if we foresee any deficiencies or possible deficiencies, we bring it to the board and then we work with that. Right now, the only deficiency that there are 3 that have been dropped because of the COVID. That deals with the physical education minutes that has been dropped, the hearing has been dropped, and auxiliary placement. So those 3 are there. They're small ones, but especially the PE minutes were big ones for a lot of people had a hard time with. The other ones, the planning for curriculum, that's been dropped because it's hard to get staff together. And the other one, of course, vision and hearing. You can't bring some of the kids in to get all the sites without breaking COVID. So they're working on how they're going to fix that. The only other one that could be a potential in the future would be the minutes, the number of days and minutes of a school year. But right now, since we're meeting in person, we're going to make that because we get to count the staff development time as well. So we did start later. It's going to be real tight, but if we don't make it, all we do is we'll put in for the waiver here in May and know if we have days we have to do. But those are the standards, so it's a traditional thing you've always looked at and been doing, but I just wanted to talk about how they streamlined it this year, and I gave you that handout to let you know how it worked. So that's the latest thing. We have to post it on our website, and we also have to have it, like I said, to the state by the 15th of November. Okay. Any questions? Thank you.
All right. Hearing none, no other discussion, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the 2021 Division 22 Standards Report to the community as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 2020-21 Division 22 Standards Report for the community as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Announcements.
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Next board meeting agenda items.
We have the OSBA policy update, second reading, consent agenda. We'll also have the MOUs on there, so see that list there.
And at this point, I am not gonna be here on the 18th, okay? Just be at a meeting in California. It's
All right, we're down to adjournment.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Meeting is